Boy, a typical security guard trying to hydrate, heading to the gym. Today is Tuesday, overcast in Portland as usual. Heading to the gym, extremely sore. My body is killing me right now. Looking forward to getting in this workout and then hitting jiu-jitsu tonight. I'm on a kick, man. I really like it. I enjoy it. Had a good night yesterday. Had a good set of rolls, good set of practice. Hit some goals. Fully bitten by the bug. Today we're going to be talking about a viral video that I saw this morning. And as usual, it's some buffoonery that is happening in the private security industry. And as usual, it's related to Allied Universal. For those of you who don't know, Allied Universal is the largest proprietor of private security. You generally see them at shopping malls. You see them at, private property like, shopping malls, anything, everything. They're generally the people that are wearing either bright yellow, bright blue, just your average security guard. When people think of private security, the image that you think of, that Paul Blart, overly aggressive, unreasonable, the image that you have of private security, guys, it's Allied Universal. That's the guy, right? I'm not that guy, but that's the guy. So the video is from a shopping mall. I hope that you guys have seen this. If you haven't, please look it up. The video is from a shopping mall, and it appears to show a street takeover. Now, here in Portland, street takeovers are huge. They will, kind of block off like an intersection, and you'll have the guys doing donuts and like crazy stunts in the car. They'll do that at the intersections. They'll do that on the major bridges here in Portland. One of the most famous areas where people do these street takeovers is a mall called the Lloyd Center. The Lloyd Center here in Portland, for the longest time, was like one of the largest malls in America. I think it opened in like the 60s. Very, very big in terms of the 60s, the 70s, 80s, 90s, even the early 2000s. Now it's a ghost town. It's famous for having a skating rink, an ice skating rink in the middle of the mall. And that's the skating rink that Tanya Harding trained at. Tanya Harding trained at this skating rink and became an Olympian. Most notably, you guys, if you're old enough to remember, Tanya Harding is the Olympian that had one of her boyfriends or hired some people to bash this other Olympian named Nancy Kerrigan. This was a big thing back in the 90s, to bash her in the leg because she was her #1 competition. And she thought if she could take this chick out, she could get a spot in the Olympics. So that is what the Lloyd Center is known for. Today, the Lloyd Center, aside from being a huge homeless encampment and being a place where you can find and do almost any drug legally, it is a place where people do these street takeovers. It's got, 3 levels. It's got a huge parking garage. Some of the videos that I shoot out of that parking garage. And so the people that are into the street racing and the street takeovers, they all end up there. There'll be, 1,000 people, and they'll utilize that area for the street takeover. So in this viral video, the Allied Universal security guard seems to allegedly be working at this shopping mall when a small group of what looks to be teenagers, I mean, these kids look pretty young, seem to have taken over like the rooftop of the parking structure. And the security guard himself in the actual security vehicle is drifting. Like, he's in the security vehicle, he's driving super fast, he's drifting, he's hitting the donuts. Like, guys, I'm old, I don't know what the terminology is for this shit, but they've got video of him doing it from outside. But the most egregious and crazy shit that is happening is that he's got multiple kids in the car with him. At one point in time, the video picks up from inside the vehicle. He's in his uniform, he's in the patrol vehicle, and he's hitting these donuts, and you've got a kid in the passenger seat and you've got multiple people in the back seat. Now, I will say this. The video is funny. I ain't gonna lie. I watched the video and initially, like, I laughed. I thought it was funny. It looks like a skit from Reno 911 or like some shit that they would do on Jackass back in the day. And the fact that like the security guard is overweight, is a black dude, you know, he's working for Allied Universal, like just all of the ironic tropes that are going on in the video. I'm not gonna lie, I laughed and I watched it like 5 times. But it's a serious channel. So then I started thinking, like, okay, and I read the story. So he's doing that, and then there's another video where the kids are in a car and they're trying to drive the car up some steps. Yo, let me just say this. I'm not condoning anything that happened in that video. It looked like they were having the most lit time. Like, it just seemed like whatever was going on, whatever the situation was, whatever the text was that went out in the group chat that night, like, this reminds me of that movie, what is it, Project X or whatever. I'm sure that the stories behind how this whole night came together is probably hilarious and it's probably awesome. I think that if you're one of these kids, you look back on this night, it's probably great. But also, like, kids today, this is just like a normal Wednesday for them. This is the kind of shit that they do. It wasn't like that when I was a kid. But back to the seriousness. They said in the story that the Allied Universal security guard was fired. He was terminated. You know, Allied puts out a statement basically saying, we don't condone this. This is not how our officers should act, blah, blah, blah. And it doesn't seem like there's any charges. At the end of the day, no one was hurt. The guy was terminated. It seems like everything is fine, no harm, no foul. But man, after watching it, laughing, and all jokes aside, I started thinking to myself, man, the implications of what could happen if that had all gone south. Let me say that again. The implications of what could have and what would have happened if that situation would have gone south. If he would have rolled that car and you've got, you know, 6 people in the vehicle. 6 people who I'm going to assume, I don't know, but I'm going to assume are minors. Some of the kids that are in that car are female. There's so many different ways that this situation could have gone bad and could still go bad for that guy, right? You don't see a lot of video in terms of what happens before or after the stuff in the car. You don't know how long this interaction between the security guard and these kids went along. Implications of impropriety. Did you say something? Did you do something? Did you touch someone? I don't think that in the moment, and guys, I get it, like as private security guards, our interaction with the public, especially for those of you who work private security at shopping malls, or if you work at a school or any location where you interact with young adults, your day is spent getting ridiculed, getting talked down to, people calling you out of your name, people making fun of you. It's not lost on me that someone in a situation where, you know, they don't want to be the bad guy. They don't want to be the bad guy. They don't want to get roasted. And in a situation where there's a lot of people that are there, maybe they're inviting you to be a part of the fun, and you get an opportunity at that moment to not be the bad guy. You know what I mean? And people are gassing you up. They're cheering for you. They're laughing. They're having a good time. It's very easy to allow yourself to get caught up in the allure of being accepted. And we have to be honest. Private security at the low end of the totem pole, there's a lot of people that work these jobs. I'm making a generalization here. Like, none of this could apply to this guy. This guy could be the fucking man outside of work, and I'm making a generalization because it plays into how this whole thing went out, right? A lot of people that work in private security at the low end of the totem pole, they're not the popular kids. They never were. And they're definitely not doing something now where people hold them in high esteem or high regard. And again, if you're working in these environments where you're around kids, a lot of times it's even worse. Like the level of toxic comments and attitudes that we deal with, it can weigh on you. And I think that that's not talked about enough. And we go, hey man, like if you don't want to do the job, don't do the job. Like, but at the end of the day, sometimes this is what people can do. This is what people have the skill set for, the education for. In some regards, people with a low level of education or a low skill set can work in private security and make a decent living. They can make more watching some of these sites than they can working at a fast food restaurant or doing something else. So there's a lot of things that play there. My point is that you have to remain the adult, number one, and you have to remain professional, number two. We talk about things in private security that fall into different categories. Legal, right? Ethical, moral, policy. Let me say that again. Legal, ethical, moral, policy. Those are all the things that you have to be thinking about when you're interacting with people. Are you doing something that is legal? Are you doing something that is by policy? Legal and policy are very easy. It's pretty much black and white. Moral and ethical is where it comes to people making mistakes. Because what's morally right for one person might not be morally right for someone else. What someone sees as ethical for them might not be ethical for somewhere else. But these two issues are the gray area where people get themselves into trouble. You could ask that guy, do you think that it was morally the right thing for you to do to get in that car and do donuts in front of those kids? And he might say, yeah, like, I don't see any problem with it. Okay, is that an ethical thing for you to do with that vehicle, with that uniform on, knowing that you have potential minors, have minor females, should you be in that situation? And they might think that that's okay, right? So at the end of the day, like, people are going to make, and I'm having this conversation, and I swear to God, directly across from me is the exact same type of vehicle that was in the thing. It's an Allied Universal vehicle. It's literally right across from me while I'm having this conversation. The irony. But yeah, no, it's, I get it. Let me just say that. I get it. The potential for you to do something stupid so you can feel like part of the group. But man, that could have gone bad. That could have gone bad if there was a wreck. And it doesn't have to be something that's like so over the top. Just you being in close proximity to those kids, just you being in close proximity to those young females puts you in so much danger. The accusation that you did something, the accusation that you said something, the accusation that you made an implication of something could literally ruin your life as a person, let alone if you actually did do something, right? I highly suggest you guys watch the video. And I think that the way that I want to end this conversation is I want you guys to think about the importance of remaining professional. I think that that's the best way to wrap this up. I could talk about this for hours, but I got to hit the gym. You really do have to understand the importance of remaining professional. You're doing a job. And at the end of the day, guys, it doesn't matter how you feel. It doesn't matter how people make you feel. It doesn't matter if you want to be a part of the action or a part of the group. You are the professional. You're there for a specific reason. If you decide that doing your job and telling the kids that they can't do something, they can't be somewhere, that's too much for you to do, so much so that you want to actually get involved, you got to go ahead and just quit your job right there. You're putting the company in liability risk. You're putting that shopping center in liability risk. And I can guarantee you, the parents of the kids, here's the thing. Just like I came on here 2 weeks ago and I said, mark my words, they're going to issue an arrest warrant for all of the people who were working security, who were involved in the Devontae Mitchell situation where they held him down and he ultimately died. I said, mark my words, they're going to send out arrest warrants for all those people. The next day, arrest warrants. Mark my words, as funny as that video is, as clout chasing as it is for the kids and for the security guard, mark my words, somebody's parent who's going to see that video is not going to be laughing. And it's going to be Birdman hand rub. Oh, Allied Universal, you had a security guard who in the commission of his duties, in his uniform, in his patrol vehicle, was doing donuts with my daughter in the back seat. He's 35 years old. She's 15. I'll see you in fucking court. Mark my words. And that's where it comes down to people not thinking 2 steps ahead of the decision that you're making. Yeah, in the moment, it seems funny. Yeah, in the moment, it seems fun. Yeah, in the moment, it seems like the cool thing to do. But this is going to cost. It costs that guy his job, and it could potentially, depending on what is said or how this whole thing shakes out, could cost him a hell of a lot more. But I guarantee you there will be a lawsuit against that shopping center and against Allied Universal. And again, these are the types of conversations that we should be having in training. Talking about where you sit, where you mark the paper, where you put your clipboard at the end of the night, all well and good. These are the types of conversations and subjects and issues that need to be brought up in training, either at the state level or at the company level, that are going to make a difference in terms of us having an industry of professionalism that doesn't lead to this type of goofy shit. But unfortunately, private security companies, I've said it 1,000 times, I will continue to say it, they don't care to do it. Why? Because at the end of the day, they want to make as much money as quick as possible while paying the least amount of money to the officers, not putting any effort into the training, and just hoping that nothing happens. But then situations like this happen, and now here we are as an industry looking stupid in the news again, all right? I want you guys to go find that video, take a look at it, drop some comments in the video below. Let me know what you think. Was this just a security guard having a good time? Am I being too harsh on the guy? Or do you think that this is a dangerous situation that he didn't understand could potentially be a bigger thing going forward if people start to complain and parents start filing lawsuits against them? What do you guys think? All right. As always, if you're working, please be careful today, guys. Watch your back. Pull your heads out of your ass. Take a deep breath. Get some fresh air in your system. And try to make smart decisions, okay? You guys be safe, watch your back, and as always, be great. All right, take care.